Hey, good morning. Glad y'all are here. I don't know what it is. It just feels like the new year has started. I don't know. It just the last couple of weeks and through this 21 days of prayer and fasting, just spending some time and really slowing down. I'm like ready to get going. We have one more week of prayer and fasting, and I'm excited about where we're going. And I'm excited that there's some people online too today that are serving, and I just wanted to recognize them. Skylar and Katie Chupp are helping out and leading people online, and so Bristy Curie is also, and this is a team of people who are continuing to build and grow as we move forward, because we know that people are still watching at home, and I will tell you this, we're waiting for you to come back. Whenever that is, we're ready, and we're wanting you to come back whenever you feel comfortable. But we're glad that y'all are here. I'm glad that you're here. This week, I have a birthday coming up, and man, I'm getting older. And what's interesting is, like, people will see my wife Ashley and I together, and they're like, they look at us, and then they're like, well, we start talking about, age, what we do, whatever, age comes up, and then they just look at me with the gray and all of that, and they're like, dude, you're so lucky, man. Looking at her compared to you, like, you for sure won. But one of the things I will say, looking back, because I say looking back, here's the deal. My life is halfway over. All right? I know that y'all are like, what? This got morbid real quick. I'll be 46 here this next week, and man, 92, that's pretty full life, So looking back, you start to evaluate some things. You start to look back and go, man, what have I poured my life into? What have I given my life to? What am I going to leave behind? And as you get older, just a little, I'm just going to say this for the majority of you who are younger. As you get older, you kind of get to that halfway point, and every year is another year that you start to look back and go, what am I leaving behind? It's funny, because I thought about this. It's something, we offer a course called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality, and we're actually going to offer that coming up here in February. But in that course, there's a guy, a Franciscan monk, Richard Rohr, and he wrote this statement, and it is just so true. And so I'm just going to give you some truth, whether you like it or not, whatever you believe about Jesus, about God, this is truth. You ready? Here it is. 5 things. They're going to show the image up here. Life is hard. Yes. Life is hard. You're not that important. Did you know that? You're not that important at all. The other one on there, your life is not about you. Your life's not about you. You're not in control. Man, did we learn that last year? You're not in control, and you're going to die. Welcome to Onelife, and I'm glad that you are here. It's just true. It's just true. So I share that with you. Today, I just want to share what's true, all right? And as our friend Lizzo would say, sometimes the truth hurts, okay? And I don't mean this in a hurtful way. This is a way for us, all of us, to just stop and look and evaluate our lives. It's important for us to do this, okay? If you have a Bible, open up to Matthew chapter 6. That's where we're going to be today. And I did want to share with you, as you're turning there's a couple of things coming up. Jordan, you have to follow along with me. There's a couple of things coming up. This Friday, we have 24 hours of prayer. We'd love for you to be involved in that. It's just 1 hour of time. You come up here. No one else is here. And we have a prayer room set up where you come and pray for an hour just by yourself, or your spouse can come with you, and just setting aside that time. Also, Origins is coming up in 2 weeks. This is the next step for you. I'm just telling you. If you have not been a part of Origins within the last year and a half, I want you to come back. No, if you've been here for 5 years, I want you to come to Origins on the 31st, okay? And we'll have lunch afterwards, and it's really about where we're going as a church. And I say we, it's not just me and some leaders, it's us, all right? And so I'd love for you to be a part of that. You can go to occ.live/events, okay, for any of those things. Matthew 6, we started out in these 21 days of prayer and fasting. I just started out with some words of the prophet Isaiah. And he's saying, you know, come, God's saying to his people, come to me, listen to me. My ways, my thoughts are much higher than yours. Come to me, listen to me. And last week, Brian talked about fasting and just the fact that fasting is abstaining from food for spiritual purposes, that we can actually be physically weak yet spiritually strong. And Clint Sissom shared just some words, his life experience when it comes to fasting and like God's faithfulness and praying, and God maybe not answering your prayers right then, but he's always listening. And maybe later on, you see these things happen. And so in this, in Matthew 6, Jesus is the Sermon on the Mount, and basically Jesus has been teaching, healing. These crowds of people are just following him. And so he goes up on this mountainside, he has everyone sit down, and he begins to teach them. And he's teaching them about this upside down kingdom. The fact that the kingdom of God's more about what's in here than what's seen. And he challenges them on what they're doing and their motives. Why do you do what you do? Why are you praying? He tells them, he's like, hey, when you pray, don't use all these words. Don't try to sound super religious and all that stuff. Like, go in your room. Your Father in heaven already knows what you need, so go in there in secret and talk to him. It's not about all these words out in front of people. When you fast, don't walk around being, oh man, I'm fasting, 21 days of prayer and fasting, and just this face that looks just somber. It's like, no. Why do you do what you do? God knows our motives. He knows our hearts. And so in this, talking about prayer and this upside down kingdom and prayer and fasting, he then goes into this right here, Matthew 6, verse 19. It says, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moths and vermin do not destroy and where thieves do not break in and steal. I love the fact that over 2,000 years ago, Jesus on this mountainside speaks these words to these people. And that these same words speak today directly into your life, into my life. Because he's not just giving us advice, he's telling us the truth. He compares two ways of thinking, which then translate into two different ways of living. And he knows that what we value, or in his words, what we treasure, like this is a part of our life. We value or treasure things. He knows that our everyday decisions reflect who or what we value. And inevitably, our lives will come to an end, and there will be an accumulation of what we value. Think about this. You go to a funeral, and there's a casket. And in that casket, there is the body, the physical body of a person who has a soul. And that body is there. And a lot of times that person, they ask to be buried in clothes, a suit or a dress, whatever that is, earrings, maybe keepsakes with them, maybe a picture. There's only so much room in that casket. And none of that stuff goes with them. Think about it. You can't take anything with you. Wisest man who ever lived, Solomon, he put it like this: we leave this world just as we entered it, with nothing. In spite of all our work, there is nothing we can take with us. I'm in the process of storing up and leaving behind things that won't last, or I'm storing up treasures that will last and preparing for the life to come. I have choices to make now, every day. How I live reflects who or what I value. How I live reflects who or what I value. And the issue isn't that earthly treasures are intrinsically bad, it's just that they have no ultimate value. Think about what we have. The things that we value in this world. A house. I have a great house. It wasn't a great house when we bought it. We had to do a lot of stuff to it. We value houses. We value cars. We value 401ks and savings. We value nice things. So think about it, because it's different for all of us. I do believe that what do you value? What do you value? For many of us, we value comfort and convenience, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But when my comfort and what's convenient are confronted by the kingdom of Jesus, whoa, hold on. God, what do you mean? Like, you wouldn't want me to sacrifice anything. You wouldn't want me to give up something. God, you don't want my life to be any harder than it already is. What about that person over there? They have a whole lot more than I do. Now, come on. What do we value? How I live reflects who or what I value. What do we, as the prophet Isaiah would say, what do we spend our labor and money on that do not satisfy and do not last? Jesus goes on here and he says, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Where there's perceived value, we'll find people's hearts. We may not realize this, but what I value reveals who or what has my heart. How I live reveals who or what I value. What I value reveals who or what has my heart. Jesus is narrowing things down, and he's starting to simplify a whole lot. Here we are in 2021, we're like, man, we got all kinds of technology, we're so advanced, and we're with science, we're figuring out, and Jesus is like, no, we're gonna bring this down and narrow it down for everyone, for all time. The place where you treasure is the place you most want to be, and will be, and end up being. See, there's a trail to this treasure. So I just want us to spend some time like following the trail for all of us. We're all given a limited amount of time on this earth. Some of us are given longer than others. We don't know how long that is. There's no guarantee how long. 24 hours in a day, 1,440 minutes, 168 hours in a week. It's the same for all of us. Now, there are a few things that take up our time while we're here. Sleep, okay? Sleep. The average American sleeps 7.5 hours a night. Anybody sleep less than that? You can say you do, it's okay. Anybody sleep more than that? Yeah. Good for y'all. Then, the other thing, work, that's another part, which I have to say this. Everybody kind of puts this bad connotation on work. Like, before the fall, work was a part of life. It was good. God gave Adam and Eve this job to work, and it was a good thing. But work's a part of our life. The average American works anywhere to 34 to 44 hours in a week, okay? Some more, some less. Work and sleep are a part of this life. If you add those up, the average or whatever, we have 8 or 9 hours left after that, okay? Now, I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent here, but I want us to kind of see, if we backtrack 4 or 5 generations, the typical work day was sun up to sundown, right? So let's just do some real simple math here, and I know some of you don't like math, especially my younger ones in my family. 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, because one day is set aside for Sabbath and rest. So that 10 to 12 hours a day, that's 60 or 72 hours of work. And we're over here saying 34 to 44? We're missing some time here. Losing some hours. Okay, here we go. World Health Organization did a lot of research looking at humanity. The average person lives 72 years. Here's what's interesting. They did this based upon looking at a young person age 10 and moving forward. Okay, 10 years old moving forward. We'll spend 3,462,390 minutes on social media. Beginning at age 10, living until 72. 3,462,390 minutes. 2019, the average American spends, you'll see this up here, 144 minutes on social media. 2 hours and 24 minutes a day, okay? You put this together with entertainment TV. Look at this next one here real quick. If you add up social media and you add up television, go ahead, Jordan, put the next one up there. With television being 8 years and 4 months, we spend 15 years of our life watching TV and on social media. What? That's crazy. See, this is when you are able to look back and evaluate. For many of us, we've slowly become enamored with this earth. And we're actually treasuring entertainment and enjoyment here, but forgotten about an eternal home. Let's get back to this work thing. Does your work have your heart? Does your work have your heart? Do you love it? If you find a job you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. You're like, no, my job does not have my heart. It's called a paycheck, right? A paycheck. Now, love equals time with. Here's what we have forgotten. Time is a limited resource. You and I can make more money, but we cannot make more time. We can't. What we treasure gets our time. So how much of my limited time am I giving to work and providing for needs? How much money is enough? Solomon, wisest man who ever lived, this is what he said about it. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This, too, is meaningless. Let me tell you, you could ask Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, you could ask them like, man, how much more? I'm guessing, but I would dare to say they would say, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Yes, there is wisdom in saving and leaving a legacy for family and others. Wealth isn't a sin, but not using it for God's glory is. Jesus isn't anti-money. He's not. You know why? Why? Because everything is his. He wants us to assess what we value. Who's first? For most of us, it seems like we're sacrificing this limited commodity of time to labor more and to make more to provide. But maybe the reality is it's just feeding our earthly addictions and attractions. We've been fooled into thinking that somehow we can take stuff with us. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. What we treasure gets our time, gets our money. And then Jesus goes into this whole illustration about our perception and how what we see and how we see life. He goes on, he says, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? This word here, when he says the eye is the lamp of the body, if your eyes are healthy, it's the Greek word haplous, and it means simple, sound, single. It literally means like undivided. Undivided. There's no secret double agenda. There's nothing that creates distraction or complicates things. If our eyes are focused, if our perspective is undivided, we know what matters. We know. Is there confusion? Are we distracted? Do we have a single focus? We look at the trail. Money and time, and the numbers don't lie. They don't. How I live reflects who or what I value. We drift and we forget. It's part of our human condition that we think that life's about us, that we're really so great. The goal isn't here, but heaven. It's not here, it's heaven. Things don't last, but people do. How many of you been on a mission trip? Anybody? I mean, I have. You can raise your hand. It's cool. We're all in here. We're good. A mission trip. You know, we haven't been, our family, actually now, haven't been on one in years. And one of the things that I love about like going on a mission trip, and I just think about for us and for me over the last years though, is, you know, whether it's Mexico or Cyprus over in Turkey or Sri Lanka, different, like when you go, like you know why you're going. It's clear. There's purpose. You get up every day knowing, all right, this is what I'm doing today. I'm here. I'm open. I'm looking for opportunities, the spiritual conversations. Where's God in today and what we're doing today for these people and serving people? It's so focused. It's so clear. It's not just for somewhere else. It's for the everyday, for you and for me, right where we are. But we lose our focus and that healthy eyesight. Jesus tells us the truth about our real struggle in 2021. You ready? No one can serve two masters. So your focus can't be divided. Your eyes can't look to one master or the other. It's not two ways here. He says either you will hate the one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Servants serve who or what they value. Jesus could have mentioned any master. Think about it. He could have mentioned pornography, addiction, whatever. No. He says the one that we all struggle with. All of us. Money has the greatest potential to replace God in our lives. More people are sidetracked by materialism than anything else. The reality is that just a little bit more, more money is just going to reveal more of our heart and who we are. We're a slave to money or a slave to Jesus. You hate and despise one, and you love and are devoted to the other. There's no gray area. It's one or the other. We can't serve two masters. I was thinking about this. I used to lead student ministry years and years ago, but one of the things that we would do with students, middle school students, high school students, love to play. It's like an icebreaker game. You know, it's just, icebreakers. Anybody know what I'm talking about? No. Okay. Yes. All right. Maybe. Icebreakers. Like let's just kind of. So one of those great games is the Would You Rather game. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You just have one option or the other. The Would You Rather. So would you rather eat a chunk of hair or drink a glass of sweat? Come on, think about it. If you're online, just put on there hair, sweat, like go ahead. You gotta pick one. Would you rather shower but wear dirty clothes or not take a shower and wear clean clothes? I gotta take a shower. I'm sorry. I'll wear those nasty clothes, but I have to take a shower. Would you rather get a paper cut every time you touch paper or bite your tongue every time you eat? What do you say? This is a good one here. Ready? Would you rather be compelled to give everyone you see a high five or be compelled to give a wedgie to the person wearing the green shirt every time you saw him? St. Patrick's Day would be a problem all day long, man. He's like, oh. Which one? Now, let's take what Jesus said and let's think about it in the same context. Would you rather have $500,000 in your bank account right now, or that friend or coworker give their life to Jesus? Would you rather be financially set for the rest of your life, or your children give their life to Jesus? Would you rather live your life for possessions or for people that last forever? This is what we have to think about. What do we value, really? Living on purpose and for a purpose means that we can't live for both money and mission. Listen to me. When Jesus is master, money serves you. But if money is our master, we serve it and become its slave. So what do we do? This is what I love about this, because Jesus just knows. Like, he knew over 2,000 years ago. This is why a rich young ruler can come to him and be like, well, I've done this and done this. What do I need to do to inherit eternal life? And he's like, oh, go give to the poor. So everything you have, go give to the poor. He's like, I'd do anything else but that. It's a struggle. But it's how we see things. This is what these 21 days of prayer and fasting are about. They're about like just pausing and evaluating our lives. This phrase that Jesus says all throughout his ministry, he says, they honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. I don't want to be someone who says one thing, but he doesn't have my heart. So let's just evaluate. That's just the first step. Just evaluate. Where do I choose to invest my life? Just thinking about that for yourself. Where do I choose to invest my life? The time, hours, track it. What do you do with your day? What do you do with your time? Are you really like one of those, 144 minutes a day on social media? How, like, for us to sit and like look at it, because minutes turn into hours, to weeks, to months, to years. Where do I choose to invest my money? Listen to me. See this right here? This is neutral. It doesn't tell me what to do. I tell it what to do. And God gives me this as a test of my faithfulness as a servant to him, not this. But this like nothing else can distract me, can get me off course, keep my focus from where it needs to be. And this is why Jesus talked about money more than he did about heaven or more than hell, because he knew. What am I storing up? And will it last? After these 21 days of prayer and fasting, I'm going to challenge all of us, okay? After this week, going into February, I'm going to challenge all of us in a couple different things. One, where are we giving our time? Are we giving our time to be with people, in community with people who are headed in the same direction, following Jesus in everyday life? Am I going to be in community and walking with people who are following him? Am I going to serve with people and actually be the body of Christ, his hands and feet? And am I going to give resources to his kingdom? That it's not about me. And we're going to walk in this together in February. And I'm going to ask you to be a part of it. All of us together. How I live, it reveals who or what I value. And what I value, it reveals who or what has my heart. I don't know about you, but I'm not here for things of this world. I don't want earthly rewards. It's about the eternal. And I want that for you, for us together. And when we sing songs that talk about Jesus' worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of every praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. Yes. We live for you, Jesus. Will you bow your heads? No matter where you are today, I want to just, first of all, for you to know that God knows exactly where you are. And while I say, like your life's not that important, man, it's very valuable to him. He made you and he loves you. For those who know Jesus and know of his love and know of what he has done, I just ask for you today just an evaluation. That he put us here to enjoy this life. But I'm going to tell you this, if we can't enjoy him here, we're not going to enjoy him in heaven. This life here is just a setup for things to come. For those today who, I don't know where you are, you might be just on the verge, like you're looking. You don't know. You know where you've been, you know what you've seen, you know what you've gone through, hurt, pain, poor decisions, wishing that you could have a do-over. I'm just telling you, draw near to God. He's drawing near to you. His Spirit's drawing you to him so that you would know that you are loved and you are valued, so much so that this Jesus came here, lived a perfect life, and sacrificed his life, gave his life, laid down his life so that we would be forgiven. One sacrifice for all time. that he died on this cross and gave his life, shed his blood so that we could be made right with God, and that if we confess that Jesus is Lord, that he is God, and that God raised him from the dead, the truth is we're saved, made right with God. And Jesus didn't just die, but rose from the dead. We have hope. Y'all, we have hope. We have hope in Jesus. He is everything. Apart from him, we have nothing. And we lay down our lives and we give our lives to him. We are his servants. We are his slaves and no one else's. So may we live our lives for you, King Jesus. You are of greatest value. And we thank you. And I pray this in your name, Jesus.